Watch this satisfying hook serve. Most players never learn these two hidden variations that make it nearly impossible to return. Hi everyone, I'm Xiao Han. Today we're breaking down the hook serve, the grip, the wrist snap, and the contact point that make this serve so deceptive. Watch as I demonstrate here at the table. Next, right now my partner is practicing the long version of the serve. There's both side spin topspin and side spin backspin in these deliveries. Watch closely. On those last two balls, could you tell which was which? Here's the key. A long hook serve doesn't curve sideways after the bounce the way a short one does. Short serves have room to swerve on the table. Now, penhold players can absolutely use the hook serve. You can execute it, but generating heavy topspin is harder with the penhold grip because of the wrist angle limitation. Also, penhold players generally can't do the chopping variation as easily. Let me outline the different types of hook serve for you. There's the topspin version and the backspin version. Here's what's critical. The contact point on the ball is the same for both. Whether you use shake hand or penhold grip, you strike the ball in the same spot. That's the real power of the hook serve. One motion produces two completely different spins. Watch this one. Does it look like topspin or backspin to you? It looks like backspin, right? Now watch, my partner tries to push it back. See what happens? The ball jumps up because it was actually topspin disguised as backspin. Let's have my partner push this one so the effect is even more obvious. This is the signature quality of the hook serve. Watch, it looks exactly like backspin, but it's pure topspin. See how the push pops up? My partner reads it as backspin and gets caught completely. Now watch this next one. The ball comes off fast, you'd assume it's topspin, right? My partner drives it confidently. But it's actually backspin, and the ball dumps into the net. So the real strength of the hook serve isn't raw spin power. I've never felt it was about outspinning your opponent. It's that the topspin and backspin motions look virtually identical. I mean identical. I've gone back and watched my own slow motion footage frame by frame, and even I struggle to tell the difference between my own topspin and backspin versions. Even watching my own replays, I can barely distinguish the two. If someone doesn't know my game well, they're in serious trouble. So when you practice the hook serve, don't obsess over maximum spin. The motion is compact, there's only so much rotation you can generate. The real weapon is deception. Players like Shen Yubin use the hook serve because the topspin and backspin look almost identical, making the read nearly impossible. Shift your mindset. Train for deception, not raw spin. Compared to a standard forehand pendulum serve, the hook serve is far more disguising. With a hook serve, the receiver genuinely cannot read the spin. On top of that, because you're hooking around the ball, placement becomes ambiguous too. Watch my contact point. I aim toward the backhand corner, but by catching the ball on the outer third of the racket head and redirecting slightly, I send it down the line instead. So the hook serve disguises spin, placement, and length all at once. Then let me show you how this works in a match play scenario. When you step up to serve in a real game, the key is committing to the same toss height and the same arm swing every single time. Your body position at the table should be consistent, feet roughly shoulder width apart, weight slightly on the balls of your feet. The wrist stays relaxed and loose during the toss, then snaps sharply at contact. Whether you're producing topspin or backspin, the racket path through the hitting zone looks identical to the receiver. That's what makes both deliveries unreadable. Watch as I alternate between the two variations here. Same toss, same backswing, same follow-through shape. The only difference is a subtle change in where the wrist brushes the ball at the very last instant. After that, see, my partner can't read it at all. That's the magic of the hook serve. Now let me show you the penhold version. With penhold grip, you come around the ball like this, the wrist wraps over the top. Watch closely. This variation is what we call the sliding style. And this one here, see the difference? This is the chopping style. The sliding version uses a lateral brushing motion across the back of the ball, generating side spin that kicks sideways after the bounce. The chopping version drives the racket face downward through contact, creating heavy backspin with a side spin component. Notice how the follow-through on the chop finishes lower, while the slide finishes more to the side. Watch again, this is the chopping variation. See how the racket face angles slightly more open at contact, and the wrist drives downward through the ball. The key is to keep the elbow stable and let the wrist do the work. The chopping motion is compact, you don't need a big backswing. Start with the racket near waist height, toss the ball, and as it drops, snap the wrist downward while hooking around the side of the ball. The result is heavy backspin combined with side spin that curves away from the receiver. Each repetition should feel the same in your arm. Consistency in the motion is what builds the deception. If your body looks different on the backspin versus the topspin version, the disguise falls apart. Moving on, for the penhold hook serve, the grip is crucial. Press the thumb firmly against the front of the blade to lock the racket angle, and let the fingers on the back provide the snap. Watch my partner keeps getting caught. The penhold version generates tremendous wrist acceleration because the grip naturally allows a wider range of wrist motion. But that power comes at a cost. After extended practice, your hand and forearm will fatigue quickly. Build up gradually. Focus on clean contact and consistent motion before you chase speed. Now, some of you are asking whether what I just showed is the sliding style or the chopping style. Here's the difference. The sliding version drives the racket from back to front, grazing through the ball horizontally. The chopping version drives from top to bottom, cutting downward. Both are hook serves, but the wrist path is completely different. The hook serve has many variations. There's no single best one. Once you've learned one style, change the angle, chop this way, then from a different height. Every new angle feels awkward to the receiver because they can't read it. That's the whole point. Deception through variety, not through one perfect motion. Here's a useful rule of thumb. The chopping style naturally produces more backspin, while the sliding style makes it easier to generate topspin. The downward chopping action also tends to be more deceptive because the motion looks similar regardless of the spin you put on the ball. But neither style is superior, they complement each other. If you can master both and switch between them freely, your opponent never gets comfortable. So take these two variations to the table. Start slow, lock in the grip and the wrist path for each one, and then gradually mix them into your serve game.